Hi, it's Larry Gaines, Daily Aftermarket Outlook, and it's Tuesday afternoon, September 1st. Well, the market just keeps rocking to the upside on the NASDAQ. Just total FOMO, fear of missing out. A lot of different stocks being chased to the upside, and just running into earnings, and then just good earnings, and then the market rips even higher. So, we saw today there was the earnings on Zoom, and that got the market kind of really hyped up and steamed up, and just kind of pulled a lot of other things along with it. Now you can see the Russell kind of had a comeback here today and try to catch up, and we had another fall through to the upside on the SPY, or the S&P 500. But one thing that when I look at the markets here, this is the most extreme overbought I've ever seen, the NASDAQ 100 or QQQ. So let me walk you through a couple things here that I'm looking at to kind of lay this out for you. So first off, if we just go to the NDX, NASDAQ 100, CBOE index, okay? So this is NASDAQ 100. So these dots here, this is what is extreme range bands. And so this basically measures the average true range from your 20 period moving average. This is the weekly time frame. So this yellow dots, that's 2 ATR, and then that's 3. So it's basically 3 standard deviations. And this is on a long-term chart. So you can see super strong. So when it exceeds the third ATR, that means the market's really trending in a strong uptrend. Now, when you take a measurement and measure the price high here, currently today, from the 50 simple moving average on the weekly, this is about 34% above the 50 simple moving average. That's the most extreme I've ever seen it, all the way going back. If we go all the way back to 2000 and we look at the extreme range bands here in 2000, you can see another really extreme move up. But if you take the same measurement, the 50 simple moving average March of 2002, that peak here, that was 35%. So those are the two most extreme readings I've ever seen on the NASDAQ 100. So it tells me here you want to be very careful about chasing anything on the NASDAQ 100. So we might be looking for some rotation from some other areas. Okay, so now then the other thing, you look at Apple. So crazy, all right? So Apple just keeps, the stock split just drove it nuts to the upside. And when you look at Apple, that's about as extreme as I've ever seen Apple, and it's currently 41% above the 50 simple moving average here. So I don't think it's ever been that extreme. If you go back and look at Apple at other points in time, I don't think this is not nearly that extreme. That was back in 2012. So those are a combination of things to look at to show you the extreme. And if you're chasing something that's just a rocket to the upside, when we look at QQQ, it's also outside of its channels. The risk for grabbing onto it now, there's more risk of having this thing roll over on you if you're buying up here than the reward. Okay, so you can see it's at the top of the channel, so very, very risky to be trading it up here. And you can also see now it's hit this 2618 retracement or extension. All right, so it's hit a lot of different targets. So with that being said, I think take a pause on chasing the NASDAQ 100, especially some of the key stocks within it, such as Apple primarily, and maybe even Facebook, Google, etc. So we want to be careful with that. All of these are getting extended, but especially when you look at Apple, and now you can see Google coming up, Amazon's getting extremely extended. So want to be aware of that and probably be looking for some shorts. So one way to short it, a really easy, low risk way to do that would be a butterfly. So we could do a Qqq Butterfly. So tomorrow we'll be looking at some butterfly ideas. So a couple different combinations I was looking at here. Could look at the 11th September, next week, 295.90, 85 butterfly, $5 wide, just targeting down here to this first target right here, 285 right there. So if we got to move down to 285 next Friday, and it was trading right here, at 290 would be the target. This would be up $158, potentially up over 440. And if we get a move down this week, and we've also got a extra day weekend, right? So we got a 3-day long weekend, so we get that extra theta decay from the butterfly. So you could do a trade like this for $47.50, very low risk, potential theoretical profit $450. If we get a move here, let's say into Friday, and it starts to fall apart and moves down to 290, you're up about $36, so almost 100% return. So that'd be one, or the other one would be to go out to the 11th September and do maybe $8 wide, $298.90. So you have to see where it is trading tomorrow, but could even do a wider butterfly. That was going out today at about $1.19, so it gives you a bigger, wider, fat profit zone there. So if we got to push down to $290 on that one, this Friday the 4th, this would be up about $90, almost 100% return there. And next week on the 11th, it was trading up here, it'd be over 600. So I like that really wide wing. So I want to look at that. So I want to look at a possible short there on the NASDAQ, but then also want to start looking at rotation. Okay, so you can see here today we started getting some rotation into materials. So start looking at some kind of the materials, you know, building materials and some of the other sectors that could benefit from the market or the economy turning back around. And so things like that, possibly consumer discretionary areas in here, you know, like some of the brand names and retail, things like that. So I want to start looking there for potential new trade ideas. So we'll be following that, looking at that tomorrow. And then, you know, just some of the other ones that have been overbought, oversold, and that are starting to turn back around. One that was thinking about, I wanted to look at today was Starbucks. Look at that. Huh. Starbucks had a pretty good pop here today, but a few that I want to start tracking there. Now, a couple of shorts too. One came really close to pulling the trigger on this today was eBay. All right, so eBay, you can see here, was breaking down down to the lower end of this range here. See here, so this is kind of what I call cliffhangers, broken below the 50 moving average here on the daily. And if this starts to break here tomorrow, right in here, 53 or so, then this has a pretty easy target down about 51. All right, so I want to be looking at that tomorrow for a potential short. And here's eBay, or here's a dollar index. Now the dollar index, not to get sidetracked, kind of had a little bit of a rebound here today. So if it, you know, fails here at this weekly low, then and rolls back over, we'll look for gold then to move higher. So we do have a calendar on gold, but eBay has, I think, potential to break lower. So I want to look at that tomorrow, and then keep track on gold. If the dollar can break down here, here's eBay. See that kind of right there on the edge? All right, so going to watch that tomorrow for a potential short, and then watching gold here. If the dollar can break, which right now it was kind of getting to retracement up, then the GLD, we did a calendar on that, hit our first target here today, right there at 86, right on the open, and then pulls back. So this was in the profit zone right here when it hit that 186. So we've got a calendar set up for 186 for the end of this weekend, or end of this week, for the end of the week there. So let's take a look at that real quick. So set this up as a calendar, just targeting 186. All right, so right here today, it was up about $26 today when it hit 186 and went out today up about 12. Now if we get into this Friday, the 4th, and it's trading right here, it'll be up about $54 on your risk of 155. So 25-30% return. Or the other thing we could do is we could, if the short strike here, the 186 for September is trading below 186, we're going to get to keep that full amount of credit at 155. You can see today that credit, it had you could have bought it back here today for a $47 profit. Then that will adjust down the long dated here 186. And if we think it's going to go higher into next week, we could just stay long the 186, convert that maybe to a call debit spread or even a butterfly. So a lot of different things we can do there. So just still hanging with that. And then we had another calendar on Intel and just kind of hanging with that one. That hit our profit target here as well yesterday. So that was hitting that target right there. We were looking for 51.5 right there. And so this went out today with the, let's see here, went out today right there at with about $30 profit there, so looking pretty decent. So this was doing the calendar here, the 4 September short along the 2 October, 51.5 at 85, and you can see here today went up 29 bucks. So if we can get into Friday and it's trading here, this will be up about $53, or potentially into the close, this could be up over $75 on our risk of 85. So that's another one. And then we could also, if we wanted to, close out the short strike, stay long the long, and go that way. So a lot of different things we can do there. But for tomorrow, I want to watch closely the NASDAQ 100. I think it's extremely overbought. Not to say it can't keep going up, which it's been doing each and every day. But I want to be aware of that and looking for some short trade setups that are very low and defined risk. Good luck trading. I'll talk to you on the next video update.